Good morning, YouTube. Devi2100 here, and I got a little bit of a different thing today because I know the other, probably like 1 week, 2 weeks ago, I did that short and I was like, hey, we're going to do an upload right after I get off work. We're going to do a video on, vaping, why I choose to vape, I think freebase, vapes are better than certain things, why I think disposable vapes are still good, why I think, pod systems work, and overall, why I think that they would be a better overall class of thing to use for quitting the smoke versus like patches, gum, all these other things. And I wanted to give my story as well about like wow, I ended up quitting smoking from all that. And problem being was that the video kept being like 62 fucking minutes long. Um, 62 minutes is a bit too long, too long. So I was like, we got to shorten that up. And every time I did, it was like, what's the best outcome? Cut these up into smaller videos. So I've been working on these, kind of developing a little bit of like a script of how we wanted to go about this. And mainly, I really wanted to do that to kind of like give that each section its due diligence and be able to explain what I think is the most important parts of all this stuff, some of the hoopla, where to get your information from, and things like that. Those will be in the future videos because I want to make sure we get all the sources all put together. I'm going to make sure we have a nice correlation of what we want to set up and everything like that. But today, we also want to go ahead and just say this too, because you know what? I'm going to do a sponsorship today, and a sponsorship is just myself. So today's video is sponsored by me, in the sense of that I'm going to be trying to do a little sponsorships here like this. As you can see here, we have the lovely channel propped up right now, and for everybody who drops over here, I would really appreciate it. We are trying to bridge both the Kick channel and the YouTube channel together to truly make it more cohesive. And if you guys ever want to ask me live questions, anything like that on the fly, boom, here's the great way to do it. I will be streaming today actually at the vape shop, which I normally have not been doing anymore, just due to some issues that we've had going on with life and a few other things. However, today will be that day that I will do a stream today because I really messed up by not doing one earlier today. When I went to wake up at 7:45, I totally slept in again by accident. So be sure to stop in today at any point, and I'm sure we'll be live and come hang out with us, ask us questions, especially if you want to ask any questions about vaping today. This would be a great place. I've been doing a lot of Cyberpunk just because the DLC had just dropped, and I absolutely love the game, and it has been a blast to play with everybody. But getting back to everything now, so the whole titular question of like, why did you start vaping? It should better be asked first, like, when did I start smoking and why did I quit smoking? What made me, go through that course of like, all right, I'm going to finally quit, and that was a really big thing for me. That was something that I knew I had to not just struggle to get to, but we had to keep working towards day in, day out, day in, day out. And one of the biggest things that I had to constantly work on to get to a point of where I felt like I could truly quit smoking, um, was probably, I'd say, to a point where like I felt that I was in a bit more financial, like stable point at that point. Because throughout my life, while being obviously financially stable, because I was a teenager when I started smoking, so my parents are paying for everything, so I'm financially stable. I was smoking at that point for depression, so there was like a double standard there too, because like the depression at that point was more so because I was depressed. I didn't really have the best of friends to talk to when it came to, anything that was going on internally. My parents were, while they were good to talk to at times, they were dealing with a lot of crap in their marriage at the time, and it was causing a lot of just distress for everybody. And it got to this point too where like when I would try to go to my mom and talk to her, she would, it would start off really good usually, but then if it felt like she couldn't get whatever she was trying to get through to me, there would be that kind of like, all right, you know what? I've tried to say this to you, and then it would be done. And it was like, okay. A lot of that came from the fact that she was upset with my stepfather at the time. And there was a lot of shit that was going on in the home when it came to that too, which was a big thing. Happened to be I ended up getting into a fight with my fucking father, or my stepfather, at around the age of 16. um, 15 or 16, and it would cause us to move back, then literally go and get a place of our own, and then continue living there. But I started smoking roughly around the age of 14, 15. And I did so because I had friends that when they were super, super depressed, instead of talking about things, they would be the ones that cut themselves. And they would have all those scars all up their arms. Um, some of them were suicidal and they didn't cut this way. They went the other way. And a few of them survived. A few of them ended up either like, I shouldn't say like, I don't think any of them actually ever died. I think only one of them almost did. Ended up being a blood transfusion that saved his life. But there was a few of them though where like they either had to have something happen to their hand, where I think either one of them lost their hand because like they completely severed all their nerves and stuff like that. One they had to just legitimately just be like, okay, hey, like you didn't like he thought he cut deep enough. And then same with the girl, she thought she cut deep enough, and they both were able just to sew up the arms and stuff like that. But they have some horrendous scars on their arm now that go straight up. And so it's really sad. By the way, also sorry about the camera. I don't know why. We're seeing this weird glitch thing. I literally restarted the PC. We have everything all updated. Logitech just sucks. I really needed to start using my phone again for the webcam. However, though, I didn't have it charged. So we're charging the iPhone right now. Otherwise, this stupid like pulsating thing that it's doing, yeah, wouldn't be happening. Anyways, though, having that being said, when having watched friends do this for so many years, one of the things was like, I don't want to have scars like that. I don't want people to know that I'm depressed. I like to let people think that I'm a happy person. I'm super go lucky and all this other stuff, right? That I'm just always in a state of like this happiness. And one of the ways I found to do that was just smoke. I decided my scars would be internal. Nobody can see those. They can't see the damage inside. I mean, they could maybe smell it on me at times if I wasn't good and didn't do my rituals, which I mean, any smoker, you know how it is. You have your rituals. You're like, I gotta wash, I gotta, spray, I gotta, wipe down this, I gotta make sure this looks okay. Throw some gum in the mouth, do this, do that. And then you can go into public and people are like, oh, you smoked a cigarette? You're like, ah. People are like, nah, I didn't know. And there are some people that do that just to be nice, by the way. They'll know, but they'll just be nice and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know you smoked. And it's like, you knew I smoked. Don't try to be that. Don't try to do that. So there is that. And growing up, I really honestly thought I was just going to be the smoker for life. And mainly just because I enjoyed smoking a lot as a teenager and I was bad. And it was, again, I never did it to be cool. I never did it to be in the in crowd. I always hated that idea that somebody would do that. And I met friends that would do that actually did smoke cigarettes because they thought it was cooling, because there was certain other friends of like us hanging out on what was on called the Smoker's Hill. And they would be like, hey, actually, can we hang out and smoke with you guys? And we were like, yes, man, like that's not what we're up here doing and stuff, like this isn't about like a hangout such. We're literally just trying to get this nicotine in between classes, dude. Like, come on, what are you doing here? Like, and I now say it to this day. So when I sell vapes, okay, I work in a vape shop, and I have a customer come in, they go, hey man, I've never vaped, but I really want to get a vape product. I'll literally ask them, have you ever used nicotine at all? No? Then why start? There's no need to. There is no need to start using nicotine if you've never used it. Like, I know, like, and again, there's that part of me that, jokes because, I'm a huge cyberpunk fan. I'm a huge transhumanist. For those that don't know what that means, it just means I like the usage of technology and would be easily able to lop off a limb to put on a robot arm. I'd be totally cool with that. Enhance the human body further than what we could totally do. That we should totally do that. By choice, not by demand. I don't believe in that. But so it was just one of those things where I'm like, I don't think this is necessarily how this should work. But one of the things I always found funny though was that like it was one of those things where you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna smoke. I'm not gonna have my scars on the outside. And it was something that was, even while you're young, it's still somewhat socially acceptable. As fucked up as that will sound. Whereas a young kid vaping is still not more punishable than the kid smoking, which blows my mind. And then here in America, we really have done this weird thing where we've made people hate vaping and made them so scared. And again, I'm going to go into a lot more details of all those things in the other videos later on. But it was one of those things that I just remember as a kid. Like, I remember there being adults that saw me smoke and they were never like, oh, they were just like, oh, hey, man, you smoke? You're just like, I'm a fucking teenager, bro. Like, shouldn't you be more like upset with me that I'm smoking? No, not fucking none of them were. The only person that was my mom. The person rightfully should be that was upset, and she definitely was, Whereas every other fucking human being that I ever met as an adult, they were pretty goddamn willing to just be like, oh, here's a cigarette. Yeah, that's also why we're sponsoring our video today, because me vaping definitely would not be getting any fucking advertisements because they'd be like, oh, there's drugs. Really? But if I was ingesting a shitload of sugar, you wouldn't put that drug label on there, would you? And I'm sorry, I just think that nicotine is just as addictive as sugar. It really is. It's just as addictive as fucking caffeine. Yeah. I have a caffeine addiction, trust me. Okay? So, there is parts of where I'm just kind of like, all right, there's a certain level of the hypocrisy that's just so dumb. Because when I went from 14, 15, 16 when I was smoking, I went from being like just a couple cigarettes here and there to I was smoking damn near 2 packs a day. Sometimes in a week at the very most, or at the very least, I should say. So then I'd be like, all right, 2 packs a week, if I could really make that last me. And then once I was actually like 18, 19 and stuff like that, and I was a much, much heavier smoker at that point, and I'm not even joking, I was a pretty heavy smoker. I would literally be playing a video game right now. Like, I'm sitting at my screen right now, and I'd be playing a video game, grabbing the controller, and I'd just be like, all right, hold on, there's a dialogue section. All right, keep playing. Oh, I can save here. I'm not even joking. And that is where I got the whole learning of what is called boredom smoking. And boredom smoking literally just comes from, one, you have an oral fixation, and two, your body and mind just literally goes, you're bored, or, hey, you have downtime, air quote, you could smoke right now. You don't know when you might get that another cigarette in, so just go ahead and have a cigarette now. And especially when you're playing a fucking video game and you're at home, you're like, I know when I'm going to get my next fucking cigarette. It's not like I'm at work, and I'm like working at like a fucking like fast food joint or something like that, or in a restaurant, and it's like, oh shit, if I don't run out back and go get that cigarette in now, I may not get that cigarette later on. You know what I mean? So there is that idea, but I was at home. I'm playing fucking video games. And it's like, oh, dialogue, smoke. Save screen, smoke. Load screen, smoke. Fucking title screen, smoke. I'm in my inventory, smoke. I then found a reason to smoke for every fucking little thing. And I did it for so fucking long that now it is built into my fucking body that I do that all the time. So now I vape. And vaping for me started roughly around the age of 25. And I say officially started around 25 because I was like, I'd say 22 when I bought my very first vape, and I never stuck to it. I should have, but I didn't. Because honestly, what happened was I used the vape to quit smoking the first time. It's fine. I had quit smoking for a few years at that point, which is when I ended up meeting Shauna and stuff like that. So I had not smoked at that point for a few years, and I was feeling really good about myself. And actually, it had been a few years for that point. And then finally, I get asked to do this job on a construction job site, which was totally lied to me. I was told that I was going to be really doing more so all the IT stuff for them and helping them out, do a lot of their IT work and stuff like that, that I'd only have to do some of this construction work for a few weeks until they could sort out my title. That never happened. I became a leader of all the temp workers very, very quickly, and that was as far as my promotions ever went. I did tech work 2 days. I got paid under the table for all that, which was pretty substantial, which was nice. And then afterwards, it was kind of one of those things where, like, yeah, it was like shit, like I wasn't in a place where I should be, and I was very upset with a lot of stuff that was going on. And after the first week of me being on this construction job site, I caved and I started smoking. And I started smoking on the pad that is Blue Origin. So if you look up where Blue Origin is in Washington, I helped build that. I built the first section of the U, and then I left. The other half was already being underway. I did not build the actual full beam part of that. That shit got annoying as hell because it took forever for everybody to come in. But I kept in contact with everybody that was still building on that, and it took them 4 months longer than it was supposed to already. And so the whole job was a complete debacle when it came to that, how we were being paid, how things were being handled, how it was being ran, how much we were all being lied to from like between higher up to higher up to higher up. And it's like, dude, this chain of command just sucks. We need something better. So Florida Expo Services, looking at you on that one, you fucking suck at your jobs. Legitimately, they had employed 2 people, and these 2 guys who were going to be buying the company, which I don't even think the owner really wanted to sell it, but his daughter was like, I don't fucking want it, and she just was trying to get rid of it because her and her husband, they wanted to go do their own fucking thing, and which was fine, but they did not run it very well. They were just kind of constantly doing the whole thing, let me cut corners because I want the fuck out of this thing. And you could tell they all wanted out, everybody wanted out, and it was like, this is not how you want to run a business. Nobody wants to stay here for this. But then once the other dude was going to take over, I was supposed to do this IT stuff and like be working on mostly everybody's fucking computers and making sure all the, like I was pretty much supposed to be this girl's, like what this girl was to our main boss. I was supposed to be doing that for him. And apparently they never told him, or whatever the fucking case was, that she had already hired somebody for this. And so when I got there, that job position would have never gotten to me because this girl takes it, and she's some secretary that she went to school with, this girl, and they're good friends. So that was an instant no-go. Granted, she got fired anyways because she ended up fucking 2 of the fucking my coworkers and got caught. So I digress. Maybe I would have been the better choice, because I definitely wasn't gonna be sleeping with the dudes out there. So there was that aspect of it. You're like, okay, so I got lied to. I'm here on this job. I don't want to be here, and I have to do all this crap. I'm gonna start smoking. And at 25, I started smoking again. And I smoked for, I think it was 3-4 months. I started smoking, and I eventually go, nope, I can't do this. I can't do this. I gotta stop. And like right before the summer fully ends, before my birthday actually, oh no, actually I had to celebrate my birthday there, sadly enough. That sucked. That sucked, actually. So when I got back, I was still smoking, but I didn't want to. And I remember the first thing I ended up doing, because we had a kid that ended up having a vape. I did buy a vape, but I didn't know how to take those on on a plane. So I sold my vape before going to the TSA. I was like, oh no, I don't know how to deal with this stuff. So I got rid of it. Didn't realize that. I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm not gonna say I'm fucking a genius over here. I'm fucking stupid. But I didn't realize how it worked. That ends up being the case. I was like, okay, shit. So what do I do now? Do I go to, do I go back home and go buy a vape? I'm like, yeah, but I don't know where the vape store is at. I don't know where this is at yet. So I'm like, I'm probably just going to go ahead and smoke a couple cigarettes when I get home. That's what I do. Next day or two, I take what was left of my account from coming back from construction, which was so little at this point, and I go to the store and I go buy some stuff. And then I realize that if I was to go down to downtown in Moscow, that they actually have a vape store, and it'll be a lot cheaper for me instead of going to the store that I was about to go right across the street from the grocery store. And I was like, okay. So go over to Moscow, take a cab, and I go stop, and I see that Cafe de Vapor is still in Moscow, Idaho. And I'm like, shit, yeah. Like, this is where I bought my first vape. It's always been open by where I used to work in Jack in a Box. I was like, so now it's over here. I'll go over here and check it out. I go in at the time. My buddy Devin was working, along with my other buddy Josh. Both of them actually do stream as well. Funny enough, I don't know if they ever stream on Kick. I know they were streaming on Twitch, though. But big thing about that was I go in and ask them, hey, you guys help me out. Like, I just came back from construction. I'm looking to get a vape. I'm looking to get into it really fully this time, and I really want to stop, smoking 100%, all this stuff. And they set me up with a free max Twister 80-watt kit. And that bad boy literally was my pride and joy until I ended up actually gifting it to my mom. And now it actually no longer works. It does not hold the charge very well at all, sadly. And it makes me very sad because I love that thing. That thing, it it suffered a lot. It went through hell, honestly. But it's just literally a little stick about yay big, like a little tube, and you can twist on the bottom to dial in your wattage instead of like doing the screen stuff here with like these. I was able to just do it from my from the bottom of it, all manually, and then just hit a button and it would fire that way. And that was my favorite thing in the world, dude. I love that thing, and it got me really hooked to doing that instead of smoking because of taste. Um, I didn't wake up the next day coughing like like doing that constantly because I was trying to get all that phlegm and all the other crap out of my lungs. I woke up breathing. I woke up feeling really good. Now a couple days later, I did get that tight chest because it started to be like, all right, now we gotta get all that shit out that's been in there though. So that started coming out, and it wasn't for like at least I get 6-7 months, I'd say, until I started really feeling physically better. And mind you, I've been smoking since I was 14 at that point, so it took a while. All right, it took a while for my body to really feel better about changing and sticking to that change. And I was doing cotton candy vape juices. I was doing a blue raspberry slushy, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then I fell in love with this gold bottle of juice right here. So it's kind of hard to see. There we go. This little magnificent beauty right here is called 1UP's Strawberry Cheesecake. And it is what I love to vape the most because it has the ability to taste like Quaker Oats oatmeal packets with those dehydrated strawberries. Tastes like that in your mouth all day long as you're vaping on this stuff. And I'm always like, yeah, this is like the best. So, like, it is one of my favorite things. Oh, sorry. I got to show you because I saw my recording thing and it looks like the timer might have just got messed up. I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully, this has actually still been recording properly. I'll be watching this video back. If not, then I will have to redo the video when I get home tonight, and that's gonna be sad. I was trying to hopefully do all this today. So, anyways, yeah, we'll figure out if the video was completely botched later on. So maybe I'll edit this part out. Maybe we'll leave it in just for fun. For the fucking gag, the fact that like, did you really possibly not realize until just now your video might have fucked up? Yeah, seriously. Anyways, the core idea though was that I was like, I want to stick with this, and I want to make sure that I don't go back to smoking. And honestly, since 25, I'm 31 now. I have been vaping consecutively without fail. The only time I've ever actually smoked was there was a small moment when my my little sister's dad came here to America, and I decided to go ahead and buy a pack of cigarettes and smoke with them because they're from England, and he wasn't really big into vaping or anything like that. I didn't want to be that obnoxious when I was hanging out with them. And at that point, I still was like really trying to make sure that I fit into certain areas, and then it dawned on me, I'm smoking to be cool. I'm smoking to fit in, and I was like, we're not going to do that. So I stopped. And I've stuck with vaping, and I've been doing this now ever since, and I'm very happy with it. Honestly, I've also had more of a clean bill of health than I've ever had. Most of any of the health issues I've had now have become of my own stupidity, be it that I wasn't taking care of myself on this thing, or I am hurting myself on that, or I did this or I did that. It has literally been by my own hand, not by the fact of like, oh yeah, you're sick because you're smoking all the time, your immune system is shit and all this other stuff. None of that. So that did happen, and I do believe strongly that you can quit smoking with vaping if you choose to. You have, just like anything, if you want to quit it, you're gonna want to quit. Okay, but if you are doing it like, let's say, oh, my husband or my wife says I should quit, smoking or vaping because I says, don't fucking do it. Don't. I don't care what they fucking say. And here's why I say that. Because I get that relationships are compromised and all this other shit. Here's why that is the fucking worst thing ever. You quit for them. Guess what ends up happening? You just quit something you like for somebody else. And you best hope to fucking God that person is so amazing and that you love them so fucking goddamn much. Because at one point or another, some point, maybe even your 5, 10, 15, 20 years, God knows most of those don't last that long anymore, but marriages, and you've been married for 20 years, you're going to tell me that she didn't do something that pissed you off enough, or he didn't do something that pissed you off enough, that you go, and now I start to resent you for making me quit vaping, or quit smoking, or quit drinking, whatever the case is. You quit doing XYZ because of XYZ, you're not going to be fucking happy. If you quit because you want to do it, you will be happier. Because at the moment that something goes awry, that you quit for somebody else or for something else, you have resentment. You go, why did I do that? How dare I do that? Like, you don't even look at the positives that have happened in your life. You will only look at the fact that you gave up something for the simple fact that something else was a promise. Like, oh, hey, I'm going to be with this person the rest of my life because I gave up smoking or I gave up vaping. It's a pretty fucking shallow thing to be like, I'm sorry, but if you're doing these things, we can't be together. Like, okay, how about let's talk about certain issues that people have, like, I don't know, like, if the guy's beating you, maybe don't be with him then. If she's spending all your fucking money and selling all your fucking, prized possessions to get better jewelry and all this other, maybe get rid of that one, There's dualities on both fucking sides, okay? It's not like one side can be worse than the other. No, both sides suck. So if you're going to tell me that you're going to quit for that other side, you are literally just putting yourself in a shitty position, okay? I'm just saying, like, I would never quit smoking or vaping or do anything for anybody unless it's myself. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to resent that person. I don't want to be like, oh man, something happened, now our friendship's all of a sudden bad, and like I go back to, doing this thing, and then I go, yeah, it's because you and I fucking aren't friends anymore. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And, like, am I being an adult at that point? No, I'm being a fucking child. Have some personal accountability and responsibility at that point. And that's where it always falls down to. If you're gonna quit, you want to quit, you're gonna quit. Like, when I wanted to quit, originally, I set a plan in motion. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I weaned myself off. I took one pack and was like, all right, I'm gonna smoke one cigarette in the morning, one cigarette at night. And as I kept doing that, I would slowly progress down to fully one cigarette. And then that one cigarette became no cigarettes. And I didn't stop smoking. And I did do that originally cold turkey in a sense. I air quote in a sense because I was smoking cannabis. So I changed one habit for the other. And oftentimes, I don't know why we pretend this doesn't happen, but more often than not, that is how addictions end up working. Trade one addiction for the other. One lesser evil for the other. It is what we always do. It's what we all do. Nobody can say that they don't do that because we all do it. Okay, 100%. That's what we all do. So, but again, I want to say thank you again for myself for sponsoring today's video. And I hope today, everybody, you guys got something out of this because I really do appreciate everybody for coming in and hanging out with us. And I really do appreciate all the growth, all the love that we've had here on the YouTube channel, on the Kick channel. And I do also appreciate all the new people coming in and actually bringing up newer topics. Like when we're on Kick, I do want this to be said too here, because I feel like sometimes when like people see me on Kick or they see me from Twitter or whatever, they're like, oh, you're only going to be talking about Cyberpunk, or you're only going to be talking about this, or you're only going to be talking about that. You guys, please, more than welcome to bring up any topic you want to bring up in the stream, anything like that. I'm willing to talk damn near about anything, and that literally does mean mostly about, like politics, religion. I'm willing to talk about any kind of thing like that in my streams, whereas I think a lot of people don't want to do stuff like that, mainly just because it's so volatile. But I like to debate. I like to have intellectual conversations and have these, really engaging, engaging conversations and topics that actually help provoke our mind and actually give us that ability to be like, oh, okay, you know what? I haven't actually thought about that. So these can actually enrich our lives better and engross us into something much further than just a video or whatever the case is. And I do love having, these conversations where, we just talk about, we go from like, oh, hey, man, we're talking from a video game. All of a sudden we're talking about black holes all of a sudden. And it's like, holy shit. How do you go from that to that? It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, and the trip is always adventurous. So I always enjoy that. And I absolutely look forward to the next coming year here to see where we're all going to be at. And honestly, I know a lot of people are hearing some stuff about Kick, mainly with like Aiden Ross and a few other people. Please do ignore that. The only way that we can get change, one, ignore those idiots, boycott them, don't even go to their channels, don't do any of that stuff. There are plenty of other very amazing content creators that do deserve love and do deserve to have people come and hang out with them, because they are actually producing some fucking top-notch, grade A content. They deserve to see you. So those people, please go check them out along with myself, but do avoid people like Sam Pepper, fucking Ice Poseidon, and fucking Aiden Ross. These three people obviously are complete trash. Okay, Aiden doing some of the dumb shit that he's done, and as much as I had been hopeful for some of the stuff, because I've been a big fan of Jake Future 27, and he is a disabled streamer that is constantly doing a ton of work over here and pushing out so much stuff. But one of my favorite moments ever was when Aiden did give him like $3,000, and he turned around and was like, I'm taking my mom on a vacation. And it was like, bro, that is amazing. That is like the most wholesome fucking moment, Kodak moment you could have ever asked for. That wasn't even scripted. That was just bam. He gets money, goes, I'm taking my mom on a vacation because she's taking care of me my whole life. And I'm like, yo, that just hit me in the heart. I was like, fuck, man, I teared the shit up. That hit. And then you fucking, the next week, he does something absolutely idiotic, and you're like, how is that the same fucking guy? How is that the same fucking guy? Like, and like everybody has ever told him to, that isn't him. That is not him. And if truly that is him, then fuck, goddamn. But honestly, I've heard too many people say that that is not the true Aiden Ross. That piece of shit scumbag that we see on the fucking image, that's just the image that he thinks is so cool that he's got to paint because he thinks that's what's going to make him money. No. No. In fact, that's why advertisers won't touch you, you dumb shit. So it's like, oh my God, dude. It's literally, this is one of the biggest issues. And I think that biggest thing that needs to happen is people stop going to their streams. Stop giving them the attention. Stop trolling them. Because all you're doing is feeding them. Stop it. Leave them the fuck alone. Just leave them the hell alone. Give them at least about, a 20 goddamn mile berth and you're good. You're good. Okay? Because at this point, these scumbags need to fucking learn that, again, actions have consequences, and you cannot and will not be allowed to just be a piece of shit and go through life like that. That is just not how it works. So, at least ideally, it's not supposed to work that way. But I mean, we've seen plenty of other cases where it has. So I'm really hoping that we can fix this. And honestly, like I said, there are plenty of other amazing content creators on Kick, and I love being on Kick. And I do love being on YouTube, but at the end of the day, I don't like streaming on YouTube. A lot of it has to do with a lot of the UI, a lot of the way you handle certain things over here. Bans don't happen very well. Like, you can't really ban somebody, which is fucking stupid. How the fuck is that not capable? I could ban you if I went through some other means on it, like if you were doing comments, but I couldn't ban you if you're in my stream. Like, what is that? What is that? So that is dumb. Whereas like on Kick, some of the greatest mod work I've ever seen has been from these guys. The channel itself has been really fun to have and actually see it progress and grow and see where it's gone from there. But at the same time too, I've also been super excited at the fact that we have seen growth over here that over the 10 years of streaming on Twitch, I never even got close to. Not even maybe once. And now we're sitting at 730 something followers on Kick, and it's been amazing to see that, to see the growth and to see the ability of everything we've been able to accomplish in that time. So, with all that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I love you all. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you didn't like the video, hit that dislike button. But drop me a comment below and definitely let me know why you didn't like the video, because I can't fix what I don't know what you don't like. You know what I mean? So please tell me. And if you like it, let me know. And let me know what parts you like the most, because then I can make sure we incorporate more of those things in future videos. But I will see you all in the next one. Like I said, I will be doing a stream today at the shop, so if you guys haven't popped in, I will be live at the vape shop on Kick, probably I would say maybe like around 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. So be sure to come check around, see if I'm live, and I will hopefully see you guys then. Much love, man. Peace.